of Neocolor or a base of watercolor and then shading with the luminance, okay, or coloring with the luminance, because I know most people can't afford them. I couldn't either, right? They were, like I said, I got them for a Christmas gift. So most of my coloring will still be done with Prismacolor. So have no fear. Luminance are not going to take the place of Prismacolor in my coloring. I wanted to designate a book for the Luminance so that I could practice it, and along with doing some portraits, because my portraits are in Prismacolor, so I have to get used to the colors and things in Luminance. So, okay. So that being said, I do want to start a new page in the mouse guard here, and I have not picked a page yet. I love this book. I love me some mouse guard. Maybe we need to do something with another animal in it, like, or no, here's a fish, or, you know. So I hope that helped you guys. Again, I don't like talking bad about anything product or anything else. I'm not really saying it's bad. They're not horrible. Don't get me wrong. Please, 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 please don't email me. All right, so let's see. I think I want to have something with another creature. Like here's an owl with the little mouse on him. That might be a good one. Because I want to do something with another creature, not just the mouse, right? And also in the mouse guard, I have the books and the sketchbook by David Petersen and all that. I am not trying to follow the storyline to the sense that every mouse is a different color, or the main characters are different color mice with different color cloaks. I'm not trying to follow the storyline like this might be supposed to be the brown mouse with the blue cloak or something like that. I'm just coloring them whatever color I want. So when I'm coloring in my mouse guard color book, I am not trying to follow the storyline as far as the colors go. Okay? I know, meow, right? All right, so let's see if I need to lighten or anything up. Let's maybe move the light just a little closer. I will probably zoom in. Let's go ahead and try to do that. Again, I've been playing with my camera settings now that I found them. But when the sun comes in and out of the window, it does change my lighting. Like I was telling the girls earlier, I should just close all the blinds, turn on the light so it doesn't change. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom in. There we go. All right, let's refocus. I think that's pretty good. Let me check my lighting here. Let's brighten it just a little. Not that much. Probably right about there. That looks pretty good. All right. I think that we're good. Yeah, I know, Pat. I know. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So again, what I've been doing is, all right, let's get my light lock. Where did my light lock go? Hang on. Is using my Neocolor water-soluble crayons as a base. To me, it's not much different than just using watercolors, like I'm a koi watercolor set. But just a watercolor base, just to get, like, let me go back to this page here where I haven't put any color pencil on it. This page. Oh, sorry guys, it froze up for just a second. So like this page right here, it's just got the wash of color on it. This is what it looks like when you add the pencil. Like this. So here's one with pencil added to it. Did I get it too bright, guys? I might have turned up the brightness too much. We'll monitor that. I turned it up so it's a little brighter, but I might have got it too bright. Okay, and I have colored a couple pages in this book. This one. I don't want to get it too dark, but I don't want it to. There. This one. This one. This one. And now we'll go back over to the owl. This one. So I'm going to bend the spine so it'll lay flat. Okay. All right. So I might, I'm going to have to kind of adjust it just a tad, but it's not too bad. It's pretty much in frame. All right. So I'm going to get my NeoColors out. And I use the Caran d'Ache NeoColor 2. They're water-soluble crayons. Make sure, and I say this every time, make sure if you buy any, do not get NeoColor 1. They're not water soluble. And a lot of people buy them in smaller sets and or individually. Make sure, ask Paula, make sure, bye Claire, thanks for stopping in, you're welcome. Make sure you look on them and if you're buying them individually, that you're getting the NeoColor 2. Because the NeoColor ones are not going to move with water. All right, so let's move this out of the way. And I have a tray. And you can just use this, okay? I forget to tell y'all that sometimes I have an actual porcelain tray, and this has 2 trays. Because I usually have it sitting out like this, I forget that we have the porcelain tray here that you can scribble in and use for pulling off the pigment onto. You can either use your brush or scribble it off in here. Like, let's just say, let me get a nice kind of a orangey brown. Well, no, I don't want if I want an orangey brown. I kind of want more of a golden brown. So if you scribble down your crayons onto the tray, you can get a lot of pigment picked up in your brush. Okay, but you can also just take and pull it off of the crayon itself. This just gives you a little bit more all at once to work with, and this is also great for. You're welcome, Sam. You can also blend colors. Okay, I don't do a lot of blending of these. For one, I have so many colors, and the second thing is I do most of my blending and shading with pencil. So this just gives me a base coat, okay, a base coat of color. I'm not squeezing my water brush to get this saturated. The paper is a good quality. It's not overly thick, but it's thicker than copy paper, right? But if you're going to add layers of watercolor, whether it's in watercolor or NeoColors or whatever kind of water medium you're using, you want to dry it in between. Because it will buckle. It will buckle if you oversaturate it. If y'all have any questions, just put them in caps. We're starting another page in the Mouse Guard, which I love this book. I love the imagery. I love the stories. I love the artist's sketchbook. I love everything about it. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of base coat the whole owl with this color. That doesn't mean that I can't go in there and change things. I might keep his little chest white, although we can always add white on top. So. Okay. All right, his little feet. I might go ahead. I think I'll do a blue-gray on his feet, and I'm not looking at any mouse. I'm not looking at any owl references. I'm just coloring him whatever I feel like. Okay, so now I'm going to get a. Oh, and also to clean your brush off, if you use a Kleenex, the Kleenex will pull excess off your water brush better than anything that I have found. All right, so now I'm going to go with the gray, I think. And also, any water-soluble things you use, let me get a baby wipe to show you. On any of your porcelain trays like this, it just wipes right off. Look, just perfectly wipes off. So, you know, if you use your tray and you just want to keep it nice and clean, you can just wipe it off and, you know, go to the next color. Where did I set that gray? Here it is. All right, so I'm going to put down some gray. Is there a trick to getting the water brush to work? I have the same one, but have to keep squeezing. If you have to squeeze it, I found that I really don't have to squeeze it very much. I mean, it almost pulls right into whatever you're touching. If you need to squeeze out any water, though, I'd recommend trying to squeeze it over on the side, not on top of what you're doing. In other words, don't come over here and start squeezing out water on here. Squeeze it out over here if you need to. But I don't find that I need to squeeze it at all. I really don't need to squeeze it at all. Maybe you're thinking that a lot of water should be flowing out. It's not supposed to be doing that. You should not have no drippage, no water flowing off of these. Shake it, nothing's coming out. You want it less water. You want very little water. Okay? So maybe you're thinking it should be as wet as a brush dipped in water. It's not. It's not supposed to be that wet. All right, so I'm going to go in here with the gray. And these last forever, guys. I mean, I've had mine for like I think I got it for my birthday no, I guess it will be 3 years this February. They just last and last and last. They're so highly pigmented. If I was going to recommend one watercolor thing that you might want to use, I mean, because you can blend any color. You can blend your own colors. Let me show you. Let me do a little demo here. Let's try and dry that off. Let's get a red. Let's go with some obvious ones. Now, this is kind of a magenta, but let's go with a red and a yellow, just so you can see how we can make a nice orange. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I need a darker color so you can see. But that's a real, let me get where's a sheet of paper? So you can mix your own colors. I didn't get much in there. You can make your own colors. Just very dry. Well, they are, you know, I mean, all right, test this on your finger. Can you just do this on your finger and see water without squeezing it? Can you see water, like just that much? It's not like dripping wet, but can you see how how much water? I'm not squeezing it at all. Not squeezing at all. That's just the water coming right off. Yeah. Okay, so it's got some kind of little handkerchief or some kind of little clothing around. Could be a her. I don't know. All right, now I'm going to go in here with, I'm going to get a dark brown. And again, you can just pull it right off of the thing here if you want. It's real saturated when you do, I mean, real pigmented when you do that. Or you can do it this way. Either way, you just test it out both ways and see what you like. It doesn't really matter which way you go. Sometimes on the tiny areas, I'll just go like this and grab some. If it's a bigger wash, I'll get a nice big brush full. Hey, Azure Muse. I've been here on this segment for about 30 minutes. We did another segment earlier, a separate recording, doing altered book collage piece. So. Oh, well, let me say this, because I've done it before. See how I'm just kind of flicking off some? If you're not careful, you might flick some little specks. So it's best not to like really do like what I'm doing here, where I'm kind of doing it like this right over, because you might flick some specks there. It's best to, go over here and kind of, you don't want to flick things all over your page. I like my Pentel brush too. I don't know. See, I'm not sure. And what are you trying to use your brush with? That might be something to do with too. Are you using the Neo Colors DRD? And there's, that there's different points too. This is a fine line. There's a fine, medium, and thick. Let's see if I got them all right handy. Let's see if I can. Okay, there's the thicker one. Let's see. I'm trying to find all three sizes. I think that's the same. Yeah, okay, so here's the three sizes. There might even be a fourth size. These are the three that come in a set, or you can buy, I think it's the medium point that's sold individually at the store. I think somebody said on Amazon you can get the fine point individually. I found that at Michael's and Hobby Lobby, you get this one when you buy the individual ones, not the fine point. This is the fine point one. And they last a good while. I mean, I can see this one's starting to flare just the tiniest bit because I use it a lot. But those are the three sizes. Okay. And you can use the medium one if you're doing a lot of big area. Can't find a stopper. Maybe it's just not happy. Okay, well, I don't know. It could be the watercolors you're using. I don't know. Maybe if you get, because in watercolors, like even when I use my watercolors, where's my tray? When I use my watercolors, I get them all wet. I spritz them all down. I get them real saturated. So now if I go to dip this in there, it is going to pick up a lot more water, okay? There's a lot of water right there. So when I go to dip in there, that's a lot more pigment. That's a lot of pigment I'm picking up off of the wet, because it's, this has got a lot of water in it too. So it may be that you're picking up too much water in your wet watercolors, What kind of base are the Neo Colors? I mean, all I have are oil pastels that are water soluble from Prima. I've not tried the Prima ones. I have tried I got the Portfolio that's made by Sharpie. I mean, Staples. Sharpie. I've tried the Portfolio oil-based pastels. The problem with that, and I can't speak to the Prismacolor ones. You'll have to test it yourself. The problem with the Portfolio oil-based water-soluble crayons is pencil won't go over them. They're oil, and wax pencils are not going to blend over those. Okay, so that's the problem with oil-based pastels that are water-based. The pencil, you can't get your pencil to work over them, blend over them. But yeah, so I don't know if they're the Prisma ones are oil-based. I've not used them, guys, but if you're talking about using color pencil over the top of them, yeah, you'll have to ask. Maybe Miko knows, because I don't know the properties of that pastel. Yeah, these are wax-based. And pencil goes over them just fine. So I'm just kind of doing this takes a little bit of time, guys. I mean, I don't want to hurry too much, you know. I'm going to stay here for, you know, about another 45 minutes or so. I don't expect to finish this today. You know, we usually take at least 2 parts to do a, this is more of a, you know, a simplified page. There's not a lot of detail in it. And you can just pick it up here or off of the crayon itself. Night, Marilyn! Thanks for all you do around here. I appreciate you. And again, this is just the wash. It gives your pencils a little tooth, and it also gives it just a nice flat base to work on top of. I just like doing washes, whether it's, you know, something tiny like this, or in like the Magimorphia and those, I use acrylic washes because there's big areas that I can, you know, do washes in. So whatever. Just takes a little bit of, you know, practice, whichever one you're doing. Thanks, Julie P. Appreciates all the tips. I try, guys. If I can give you a tip, if I'm thinking of it while I'm working, I just shout it out. You know, I just shout out whatever comes to my mind as far as tips or techniques or anything, you know. I want y'all to have the best results in your projects that you possibly can. So if something comes to my mind, like, you know, the things that I just remind y'all of every show, it's because I don't want you to fail. Thanks, Marilyn. I don't want you to fail. All right, so I think I got most of the branches done. There's a little bit back there. Now I'm going to go back and let's see. So I'm going to clean off take a Kleenex here and squeeze off the excess there. Okay, and again, I'm practicing with my Luminance in the mouse guard book. So anytime I'm going to do any work in the mouse guard, I'm going to use Luminance. Most of the other color books, you'll see me using Prisma color, because I know, guys, I know how expensive the Luminance are. And again, I wouldn't have had them myself if I hadn't got them for a Christmas present. So, all right. The little mouse, I think I'll do him a different shade of gray, but I'm going to do him gray as well. So I'm going to do a little bit darker gray. And again, I'm going to have pink in his little ears. Where's Emma? Mad Rat Emma. She'd probably go, no, it needs a little of this. So this is just a little darker gray. And I'll just kind of water it out toward his face so it's a little bit lighter right there. Little nose. A little darker underneath the fur there. And his little hands too. Okay, now that's a cloak there. So I think I want that cloak a different color than his fur. I already got a little on there, but that's okay. All right, this is the back side of his ear. And it gives you, see how it's kind of a watercolory look? I'm not real zoomed in now because I'm trying to have the full page while I'm doing the wash. I'll zoom in when we start coloring with pencil so you can see detail. Right now, I just want you to see the wash. And see how it kind of has a mottled effect, like a watercolory effect. I like to have that if possible. The mouse looks like he's considering making owl pie. I think he's just riding him. I think he's just riding his back, but maybe not because they did fight an owl. Maybe he's trying to fight the owl. Now look, he's riding him. Look, he's got like a stirrup with a little mouth, you know, the thing in his mouth. So that's how he's holding on. So he's riding the owl here in this case. Yeah. Because that's how the owl is holding the little metal thing. And he's holding on to the stirrups like, you know, so yeah. All right, now let me go back to a light gray for his axe. This is very light gray. I might need a little darker gray, but I'll just put a wash on it now. We'll go back in with pencil. And if you use a watercolor, whether it's Neocolors or whatever, you're less likely, like with acrylics, you have to really wash down your paint so that you're not covering up the color book lines. Oh, you have two new babies that are gray, dark gray with white. Oh, cute. Yeah, we have Mad Rat Lady, Mad Rat Emma, who loves mice. He better be careful riding him. That axe thing is going to go through his head. Yeah, Vicky. Let's see. You know, he'd probably normally have like, you know, brown eyes. I think we're going to give him nice blue eyes. Let's give him some blue eyes. Now, I don't know which blue I want to use yet. Let's test this at that. That one might be good. I think I'm going to give him blue eyes. Why not, right? Why not have a blue-eyed owl? Like that. And then I think I want his, I don't like the mice. I don't know what kind of fur or what kind of, like this is like a fur cape. It's not the regular cape. Like see, like this kind of cape. Hang on, guys, I froze for a second. Come on. It's not like this kind. It's kind of like a fur, like a coat, rather than just a cloak. But I don't like them wearing fur, so I've been making them kind of have like some kind of a grass or some kind of a moss type clothing when they're wearing something that kind of looks like fur. I've been making it like it's some kind of a moss that they're wearing rather than fur. That's just me. Okay, so now, and again, I'm not trying to go with the storyline has certain mice or certain colors with certain kind of clothing. I'm not following the storyline at all with my coloring. No, it's not a violent. Well, I mean, they fight a little bit, but it's not, you know, no, it's not violent. Yeah. And the color book has no story at all. I mean, the color book itself has no words. So you have to either make up your own story or you have to know, like, for instance, look, you can see like they're like going to battle here. Do you see them stabbing something and blood shooting out? No, nothing like that. But the story, you know, they're fighting, like here they're fighting a snake, and in the story they fight a snake. Like, hang on, let me get one of the books. Okay, this is the first one. Let me show you. See, it's a graphic novel. See? This is... So you see how the mice have different colors. There's a gray one, there's a reddish one, there's a brown one, and they each have their own color cloaks. Like, okay, so here's where he's going to fight the snake, right there. See? Yeah, Vicky. So, let's see. Okay, so there. He's getting, the snake starts to eat him. But, you know, I mean, it has a lot of morals to it, too. This one, he's fighting a crab. He's fighting a giant crab. So just so you can see. So this is the whole story, right? Yeah. But look how cute. See? And it's a whole, you know, graphic novel. Now here they did, I think this one does get killed. One does get killed, I think. Or dies, I don't know. But it's, you know, they have a lot, there's a story, there's a reason for things. It's not just random violence, Vicky. I know, isn't it awesome artwork? And I do want to do a show where I show some of the books. Now, I'm not going to read the books to you, obviously. You're going to have to, you know, buy the graphic novels. They were captured there. but you know, they're just very they have reasons and morals and you know their courage and their fortitude and their you know fighting against a common enemy that's going to attack them, and there's dissension in the ranks, and there's you know traitors, and yeah. And then I also have I have these books, but then I also have, and I showed this briefly, his big, it's not going to fit under here, the 12 by 12 Art of David Petersen for 10 years, 2005 to 2015, Mouse Guard. And in this book, it goes through, I barely can fit under the camera here. It goes through his early childhood, his early art, and you can follow him, guys. He's on Twitter and Instagram, so you can see his sketches and his different. It's big. It's it's a coffee table size book. It's big, 12 by 12. And all his sketches and drawings and all the, you know, how he came up with the stories, his friends that he had when he was younger. So, yeah, it's an awesome coffee table book. Shows bits of shows bits of the graphic novel pages, some of the concept art, you know, all of it. It's just, you know, some of the dialogue here, how he does the dialogue. See? Well, it's not going to focus, guys. I'm already so zoomed in. But, yeah, so it's an awesome book. They're like tiny Buffy vampire slayers. Oh my gosh, you girls got imaginations. I tell you, Vicky. Okay, so now I got to decide. I think I want, you know, it probably, their clothing, like especially an owl flying, carrying a mouse, it probably wouldn't have like a bright color, you know, because they don't want to get caught, right? You know, they wouldn't have bright, dramatic colors. Bright, bold colors. But I'm going to put a little bit of magenta kind of, just to, let me get it going here. Kind of not bright red, but just like a little bit of purpley color. Maybe it's a royal owl. Like I said, I'm not following the storylines with these. I'm just doing the colors whatever I want. So that, otherwise I'd have every single page a gray mouse, or, you know what I mean? I might color some I might put a orange mouse in there. I don't know, you know? Okay, and then the little, that might be part of, you know, what he's sitting on there too. And the tassel, let's go ahead and do the tassel. Let's do this all kind of cohesive. When I'm coloring, I like to keep a minimum amount of colors. I just feel like it makes the page more cohesive. Again, if you got 20 different species of birds in your page, of course you're going to have 20 different colors. But I try to kind of keep it kind of cohesive. He's got little glasses on. All right, let me go to some pink here and put out a little bit of pink. And I'm just right here on the little, just kind of scribbling some out on the little tray. His little hands, inside his ears, a little bit tip on his nose. And I think that might be a little bit of his foot or a tail back there. Okay. I think I'll go with, he's got this feather and a plume. I think I'll go with a blue, not the same blue as the eyes of the owl, but more of a purpley blue, kind of a purpley blue, little cap. So these are like the accent colors, you know, that you can have. The hat on the mouse covering his eyes. No. Here, no. His eyes are down here. Here's two eyes there. And he's got little spectacles. I probably need to color. Let me just darken up his little face just a little bit further down like this so you can kind of see. There. Those are spectacles like going across his nose. And I'll have just a tiny bit of pink. You don't really see much of his nose. But I can put just the tiniest little tip of pink on there. Well, I should let it dry, I guess. I gotta sneeze. Hang on, guys. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Didn't hit the mute button. I'm the boss of my mind. And then I'll probably put like maybe silver, like that's where you kind of like to use a gel pen or something with a little bit of silver, you know. I'll do it gray right now. The little metal bit that he's got in his mouth. I'll just go over it with gray. But I'd probably have that like shiny silver, maybe with the not twinkling, just Wink of Stella. You know, I'll put some Wink of Stella on the metal. Same thing up here on the axe. Yeah, that's his two little eyes right there. Yeah, and what I like to do is I darken them, and then I put a little white highlight. Hi, Pyro. How you doing? Good to see you. The bridle, yeah, the bridle, yeah. Thank you, Bunny. I couldn't think of what it was called. All right, so I think let's just go with a little bit more golden color on his beak there. There we go. And the thing about this book is it's almost like a wood block type thing, so the lines are very thick. You know, all the lines are very thick. And you know, heavy lines. All right, so I think I want a little bit of a baby blue in the feather. That may not be enough to show up. Just a little bit, and I'll do it more of a Payne's gray kind of thing when I color it in. Just a little bit for now. Just to have a little shadow, because I want the feather to be white, but it has a shadow. Yes, Vicki, it is. I have my new glasses ordered. They should be in on Saturday. Hopefully Saturday. Hopefully this weekend. So I can go pick them up. Doing good, good. I'm glad everybody is popping in and doing well. Thanks for asking, Vicki. Okay. Now I have to decide on the background. On this background, let's go flip back here. On this one, I did it like it was almost like a stormy, rainy, kind of, hey Sarah O, kind of a rainy, stormy day. So it's got a lot of like, you know, dark and, you know, kind of make it look kind of stormy on this one. This one doesn't have a sky or, you know, just has a shelf background. This one I did a baby blue, gray blue background, but then I put Wink of Stella on it. See the shine? So the shine is because of the Wink of Stella to make it twinkle like. See right there? Yeah, you can see it. It's also bright, it flashes out the camera. So yeah. So I'm gonna have to decide what kind of background I want on this one. It could be a dark green, like they could actually be in a tree. I might do that, like an olive green, even though there's no what do you call it, leaves on this. If they were in a tree, then you'd probably only see these branches with a mottled looking, let's get a couple of greens. An olive green and let me just kind of sketch them out here to see what colors I want. I know I like the olive green. Let's see, do I want that dark of a green? That's too blue. That one's too blue. That one may work. Might go with those two greens right there. So I'm going to kind of I'm going to try to keep quite a bit out so I can go back and forth between them so that it has a mottled looking look to it, not flat. I want it to look like they're in a tree. So I'm going to start with like kind of putting some, I want it to have like that watercolory look, right? But again, now you got to be careful not to oversaturate. Now I'm going to go into the olive. You don't want to oversaturate. You got to be careful because it will go through if you oversaturate. Not the paint, not because of the paint, but it'll go through because of the water. And I'm not squeezing out any extra paint. I'm just kind of, I want it to look tree-ish, right? So you see how I'm just kind of making it all, but it's real easy to oversaturate that. It's best just to get this much going, and if you want another coat, another layer. Oh, you got your birthday card. Good, thanks. Oh, good, Sarah. Happy birthday. What was it, day before yesterday? So I'm just going to kind of keep doing that. I want it to be like little puffs of branches, you know, just kind of like that. Light and dark bits of tree. Then we'll go in there and add more. We can add more, and we can also add more pencil. Right now, I really just want to get a base coat here. Okay, let's add a little bit more dark here. Let's go over on this side. And just keep moving, and you can just pull it off of here too. I'm just trying to get like bigger swatches of color, and you get more when you put it in the tray. Because I want to pick up a lot at a time. So don't forget Janet's streaming at 1. About 45 minutes. I'll probably work here for about 15 more minutes. And then Janet, I did miss what she said, if she did say what she's going to stream today. Janet, is she still here? She might have, yeah, she's here. She might be off getting ready for her show. And we will continue. I very rarely finish a page in one sitting. On channel, I mean. So can you kind of see how that's kind of mottled looking? My light's getting a little bright. I think the sun's, let me try to keep my colors correct here. I do my best, guys. I do my best. Okay, so I'm just going to keep scrubbing off on the little tray here. To give it a tree effect. And then we'll shade around like the individual little bits, you know, to make it look like they're like those branches are going into the tree. But we'll do that later. Right now, just want to get the background in. Like the colors? Good, guys. So I'm just going to put some blotches of and I mean, as much as I scrub off, guys, look, you can't even hardly tell they're used. I mean, they just don't wear down. I mean, they just go and go and go. You know? They're so highly pigmented. Oh, Janet's talking. Janet, where did I see it? Did she talk? Or is it, oh, someone's just talking. Yeah, the name of Janet's show is Monkey Island Madness. So if you're watching the recording here, she does upload to YouTube after the show, just like I do. It's got some darker over here. It's kind of trying to space it out, right? Again, it's better just to do one layer with the water and dry it or let it dry before you go on and add another layer on top, because it's not going through, but the water can make it, the paper, it go through. Not the colors is not what's making it go, if it does go through, it's the water. So it's best just to do like I'm doing here with one layer of the paint, and then let it dry it with the heat gun or let it dry, and then go back in and add your next color. Because this is not watercolor paper, guys. Well, you know that, but, you know, you're working on just, you know, a little bit better paper than copy paper, you know. It's not made for oversaturating, so you do have to be aware. And if you're never sure on your color book, make sure you have a back page designated to test your supplies. Let's see if I can get just a little bit in these little tiny areas here. Okay, let's keep going. I'm doing the whole thing like they're in a tree. And get the other color. Just kind of space it out. You have any questions or anything, guys? Hope everybody's having a good Monday. I love Monday. I know people say, I don't like Monday. This is what I do every Monday. I love my Mondays. I can't not love Mondays when this is what I get to do on Monday, right? Have all you guys hanging out with the talk to while we're coloring. And hopefully y'all are working on some kind of project yourself. How could you not love Monday? That's just me. Essence of tree. That's right, Taps. Essence of tree. We're going to add more. We're going to add more treeage. There will be more treeage. But again, you know, this is just the initial wash. I'm going to dry it, and I'll do a couple of little feather, little tiny bit of feather or maybe some fur on the mouse real quick with the luminance, just to give you a little, show little tease of what we're going to do the next time that we color. All right, I think I got pretty much all of it based in. Hey, Kathy K-Bird, Kathy. All right, let me clean off my brush. Let me hit it with the heat gun. Let me move and again, this will all just wipe out. See all the colors right here? They'll just wipe right out. Or if you want to use them the next time, just leave them in there. It's not going to hurt anything, just leave it in there, right? But they'll wipe right out of your porcelain tray. All right, so now I'm going to move this out of the way. And let's dry. Heat gun. And it does give it a little buckle, not bad at all, because I was careful not to oversaturate it. But if a little buckling bothers you, just be aware. It will a little bit. All right, let's put that back up there. Okay, so let me just I'll just go ahead and start on the little mouse right here. So I'm going to use my Luminance again. I'm going to designate, this color book and maybe one other that anytime I color it, we'll use the Luminance. Otherwise, we're using Prismacolor because we can, that's an affordable pencil, right? All right, so let's go with the dark gray, a blue gray, and I haven't written out the names yet. I haven't had a chance, guys, to write out the names, which are very hard to read, like silver writing on a brown pencil or a tan pencil. They're very hard to read. So this is Payne's Gray 60%. Okay, so I'm going to just move this out of the way. Sharpen. Where's my sharpener? And on the Luminance, I use the large hole on the sharpener, and then you get that little stubby pencil, but you get a nice sharp point. Can you see that when you use the big side? And they just last. These are going to last a long time. They're very expensive. I understand that. Like I said, I wouldn't have them either if I didn't get them for a Christmas present. All right, so what I'm going to do now is let's go ahead and zoom in one time, and then we're going to, I'm about to wrap it up for the day. But I want to zoom in for you to get real close up here. Let's go back one. Let's refocus. Okay. This is how I like to color, like right up on it. So you can see a little bit, let me kind of tilt it so you can see a little bit better of the color there. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to start kind of flicking fur. Can you see that? Do lighter flicks for lighter areas. And you can also use a couple shades of gray too. Right now, I'm using the background as the base color of it, and then I'm just flicking here randomly like this. You can get like areas it's going to be darker, but then leave some light areas, and your eye thinks that that's fur underneath. Just like that. There'd probably be a little shadow here under his hat and the feathers. So let's put a little bit of shading right under there. But then I want to flick little hairs and do them in the direction that they would go. In other words, see, like this is going kind of like the direction of the ear, and then it kind of comes this way. Go in the direction of the way the fur would grow. Does that make sense? And there's, it's a color book with a lot of gray in there, and you can see lines and, details that you can kind of follow if you're not sure which direction. Like, look right here. See how that little line right there? See this little line right that's going that way? So, this side you can go this way on this side, and then just kind of meet up in the middle, and you'll have the fur all going in the kind of the right direction. Make some darker, make like a little, maybe there's a little darker patch right there, and then kind of fade it out. Don't make them look like they have the mange. Don't do a mangy mouse, people. Bye, Carol Renee. Thanks for being here, hon. Don't give them the mange, okay? Don't unless you want them to be. Now, I gotta say, on this guy over here, on this one that was fighting and looked like he just got out of battle, I did do him kind of scruffy. See how, whoops, I forgot I'm already zoomed in. See how I did his fur kind of scruffy, like all different directions? I did that on purpose because I wanted him to look like he just got out of battle. See, look, he's standing on a bunch of skulls, for goodness sake. So I did him kind of scruffier looking than the other ones. But, if you're going to do that, do it up for a purpose. Do it for a reason. And you can get lighter and darker grays. I'm just starting with this one. And I do like to kind of accent, you know, a little bit around their eyes, like a little, like almost leave a little area where there, you can almost see a lighted area around like that. So their little eyes kind of stand out a little. Same for their nose here. I want fur around the nose. And he's got a little bit of a pink nose, but not that much is showing. I mean, just tell yourself the story while you're coloring, no matter, or whatever kind of art you're doing. Talk to yourself. You don't have to talk out loud, but talk to yourself in your head, like what's going on. Use your imagination. And if you get an idea for something, I might be coloring on this, and I might notice, okay, that a certain shade of gray really looks good on a mouse. You take, you know, you got your Post-it notes. Use them. You know, use your Post-it notes. Use your idea journals. Keep your idea journals handy. So now his little fur is coming around his arm right there. Might have a little shadow right there under the mossy cape or mossy cloak. There. But see how, bussy? Hubster always goes, what do you mean bussy? What's a bussy? But observe, I'm leaving a lot of the light there so that the undercolor is showing underneath. You see? So it's less work. You got, you know, the color's already there for you. Now you just kind of... okay, let's do just quickly a little bit of the moss on his cloak. So I want to get a nice dark, kind of an olivey green. This is, oh gosh, I can't see it. Moss green. Perfect, moss green. And I'm going to do kind of the same thing. I'm going to do some little flicks in the cape to give it that mossy look. And I think it kind of goes up under his chin there. But because you got such heavy, thick black lines in this color book, it does kind of limit you to how much you can put down. Because there's so much black already established, you know. And I think I'm going to give him rose-colored glasses. So we're going to go, I'm going to just grab a little pink color. Let's see what color. I'm going to get some pink. And that's also, you know, in his ears here. You can add a little darker pink. But I think I want him to have rose-colored glasses. And then you can shade the hands. We've already, you know, you've seen we did this same kind of pink hands on the other one. So, you burned your finger. I burned my finger? I burned my finger? I did? Okay, one last thing real quick. Let's go with let's see, let me see which one of these purples I want on the hat. This one is Madder Brown, I think. It's a purple brown, or a brown purple, I should say. So I'm just going to add a little bit more, and then I'll go over it with the lilac. To kind of blend. They're very creamy. Luminants are very creamy. I guess they should be for the price, right? But they are. They're very creamy. They trigger-heading you, Paula? Yeah, if you're off, Paula, you should stream tonight. All right, now I'm going to get my white. And also they have the blender pencil. Now mine broke, so I sharpened both ends. I haven't really, you know, used this much. yet. I gotta be honest. I haven't, because I don't use a blender pen with Prismacolor. Although this does work with Prismacolor too, I don't know that it works to the same extent of blending as it does with the Luminance, because I haven't used it enough yet, guys. I just haven't used it enough to, tell you on the blender. But I'm going to put a little bit of white here. Just a little bit of, and it's very purple. It's hard to kind of see there. And then every now and then I'll just get the blender and just try to do something with it because I have it. It came with the set, so I kind of want to try to use it just to see if I can tell a difference. Although for the most, I'm just so used to using pencils to blend that for me to use a blender is just awkward. It's just awkward to use a blender. I just haven't used it enough yet. Maybe when I start using the Luminance in portraits, I will be able to really tell a difference. And I need to go watch more videos. I just haven't had time, If I'm watching videos, I try to watch you guys or the people that I follow. Okay, DRD says, I sprayed my watercolors with water brush and it's working much better. Okay, good. But be careful not to over pigment. When you use your water brush to pick up pigment out of a watercolor set that's really saturated, you're going to pick up a lot of pigment. So be careful. I would recommend on a porcelain tray, this is my pencil cut, but I would recommend blotting off. If you pick up a lot of pigment with your watercolor brush in your watercolor set, like squeeze off, or not squeeze, but wipe off on your porcelain tray some of the excess pigment, because it's going to be very pigmented, which sometimes you want, but you don't want to put too much pigment when you don't want a lot of pigment. Like I wanted this very light. I didn't want this dark. I didn't want it this brown, when I started. So just test it, right? Okay, I'll add a little bit of white on his little here and there. So yeah, so we're going to stop now, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed getting started on another mouse guard page with Luminance. Let's back out. I'm so glad I found my settings. I'm not going to tell the story again, but yeah. Anyway, so there's our start with the mouse guard piece. And we got the little mouse going there. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. You need chocolate. Here's how one looks when it's finished. So you can see this is Luminance. It's very saturated, very pigmented. Found you on Instagram, Dede. You can see my art there too. Driver. Okay, do I follow you on Instagram? If I don't, make sure. Well, if you just followed me, then obviously I'll find you. So, okay, guys. So we'll continue on this one. You can see how it looks with not any pencil. See how kind of pastel-y it looks? I mean, it's got color, but it's not near as rich as this, because this has got the pencil on it, right? So you can kind of see a difference. The difference between when you put the pencil on top of the Neil color. You still think the end of that feather is the mouse's nose? No. Look, guys. All right, here. Let me do his little. Let's do his little eyes so you can see. I'll put a little highlight in his eyes so you can see. Where's my? Let me get my. Where'd it go? Well, I don't know where my what do you call it went. My Posca. Where'd my Posca go? Huh. Must have rolled off onto the floor. Hang on, guys. I don't know where my Posca pen went. Let's just go with the jelly roll since that's what's right here. I'm going to show you that there's his little eyes. There's his eyes. Well, I can't. Let me get something to point with. There's a brush. There's his little black eyes, and I put just a tiniest dot of white in them. Those are his little glasses resting on his nose. There's his nose. There's an eyeball there, an eyeball there. This is part of the, it's like a little jewel. There's a little jewel right there. A little something or a little connector to hold the feather onto the little cap. It's a little jewel thing. Yeah, that's not his eye. All right, guys. Well, we plan on being there Wednesday. Y'all peruse the awesomeness that is Monkey Island Madness Janet, and hopefully maybe Paula tonight. I see hints of Journal Artista streaming tonight. So, okay. If you want to put, yeah, I think there's Janet's link right above you, Julie P. When I leave, I turn off links. I shut the lights off. So, okay, guys, we'll see you over at Janet's. Bye-bye.